Welcome back, everybody. Today's story dates all the way back to 2017 and is brought to us from Fort Collins, Colorado, pretty close to where I live. Fort Collins has just reached a $125,000 settlement for an excessive force case. Kimberly Chancellor, the victim in this case, sued in 2017 after a Fort Collins police officer threw her to the ground and pinned her just outside of her apartment complex. The attorney representing Chancellor actually has a bunch of different lawsuits against the Fort Collins Police Department and says that this one is just the tip of the iceberg. So what happened in this one? Well, first, let me play the video for you.
Was she just pissed because she took his parking spot?
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Okay, now you should call 911.
So as you can see in that video, it was a bystander who took the actual video recording, and it was Steven Spiraccio, the police officer involved in this. He was off duty on an unmarked vehicle. In fact, it was his own personal motorcycle. The officer said that he saw Kimberly weaving in and out of traffic and speeding down the lanes, and when she parked at her apartment complex, he pulled up into the parking lot right behind her. But wait, we already covered this in another video. Can an ununiformed off-duty cop in an unmarked vehicle even pull you over and give you a ticket? Well, the simple answer is no. But here's the long answer. A law enforcement officer that is off the clock and driving in an unmarked vehicle does not have the authority to pull somebody over and issue them a citation or a ticket. Accordingly, any evidence gathered during an unauthorized stop is suppressible and carries zero weight in the court of law whatsoever. So already, Fort Collins police officer is off to a bad start. So what is Kimberly's account of this incident? Well, if you can imagine being a young lady driving into a parking lot, parking, and having some big creep pull up behind you, I'd imagine I'd be extremely nervous too if they were out of uniform and without a marked law enforcement vehicle. So as she parked, she started walking quickly towards her apartment building. The officer started shouting at Kimberly and she ignored him, fearing for her safety. For all she knows, this is some weird creep trying to kidnap her. But the officer persists that he was only following her to see if there was some sort of an emergency, and if not, to just educate her. Finally, the officer identified himself as an officer and then grabbed her by her arm and pulled her back towards her vehicle. Remember, at this time she's trying to get to her home. He demands her identification and registration. Miss Chancellor follows the officer to his personal motorcycle and starts digging through her purse for her identification. But she testifies that she maintained suspicions about the man because he was acting rather odd. He was not in uniform, not in an official vehicle. Realistically, there is zero way to identify this man as a law enforcement officer. So as he approached her, she began to back up. And as she backed up, the officer grabbed her by the arm, threw her on her face, and pinned her to the ground. Her only injuries were cuts and bruises, but in my opinion, that's more than enough. And unfortunately, she pled guilty to careless driving, but a charge of obstructing a peace officer was dismissed. Chancellor's lawsuit said that the officer used greater force than was necessary, and said that the city has created and tolerated a custom of deliberate indifference, and has failed to adequately train and supervise its officers. This is the funny part though. Sparacio admitted that a physical encounter with Mrs. Chancellor occurred, and admitted that Chancellor ended up on the ground, and said that Miss Chancellor did not comply with verbal commands from a guy wearing civilian clothes in a civilian vehicle. Of course, this originally went to Internal Affairs, and they passed the buck, and I'll applaud them for this. They passed this case to the Civilian Review Board. Very few cities even have civilian review boards, so the fact that they did it, bravo. The board determined that the officer did violate department policies, and so this case was settled out of court. The city paid Chancellor using the city's loss fund, and I covered that in another video as well. The more that police departments continue to settle outside of court is maintaining this atmosphere where people think that if we sue, we're going to get a settlement, and nothing gets resolved. If we actually take these police departments all the way to trial, not only will you'll probably win more money on a jury trial, but also B, we can effectively change policy of police departments. There's a lot more good that can come from going all the way to trial than just settling out of court. Anyway, enough of my soapbox today. Thank you guys for all of your support. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. Share this one to all your family and friends. Leave a comment, leave a like, do all those things. Check out the membership down below and also some of our merch. And until next time, have a great evening. We'll see you later.
Was he just pissed because she took his parking spot?
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Okay, now you should call 911.